I guess my key is not worrying about it, not worrying about success, but thinking in terms of artistic improvement, personal relationships. I have 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren who that I consider myself very successful in that way, even though there are so many factors besides anything I've done. So I don't worry about success specifically, but certain of the aspects of success I pursue. In teaching, for example, am I aware of the fact that it's good for my reputation if my students are brilliant? Yes, of course I'm aware. It would be ridiculous to say that I'm not. But I don't teach with that in mind. I do try to advise my students. I remember once on the Clyburn jury, we had a seminar, and I was sitting on the stage with several distinguished people, and the question was asked, do we advise our students about career? And each one of these other people whom I admire very much, but each one of them was horrified at the mere idea of advising students about career. And I remember one of them said, "Oh, Mr. Sirkin used to be so angry when people would ask him such a thing." And I thought to myself, Mr. Sirkin, a great artist who married the daughter of one of the most influential people in the music world, and lived a professionally charmed life. Why did he feel that there was something wrong about other people? Now, that happens to be a specific memory, but I have encountered what you might call an old school approach, that it's wrong to discuss practical matters with students, that one should just discuss forte and piano but I don't see that, and I don't even see that they're not the same thing. In other words, a crescendo in piano playing translates itself to getting an engagement to play a concert, and there's nothing cynical about this. It's simply empirical. So I do try to follow such a path myself. I've always been very good at understanding what the reality of a situation is, and I want my students to understand it. I want them very much to understand what the reality of competitions is. The reality of competitions is that you're almost certain to lose. And that's the reality. And when people say to me, as they, God knows, often do, why didn't I get to the next round? I say, because other people got more votes than you did. And that's simply the story. And of course, how many votes you get is not unrelated to how well you play. But yes, you have to try to play as well as possible. And finally, in a competition, there are personal choices made. Are competitions completely honest? I'm often asked that question. And I say to people sometimes, are you completely honest? Why would you expect anything to be completely honest? Be satisfied with general honesty. Everybody has prejudices, inner movements of thought, and we all must try to be as honest as we can. And that's true for the competitor, and it's true for the juror. I've heard many young pianists complain bitterly that a competition was won by somebody whose teacher was on the jury. I've never heard of anybody complaining that he'd won a competition because his teacher was on the jury, and yet that does happen. Indeed, well, I won't go into that perhaps unattractive aspect of the profession, but we have to have a realistic sense in order not to go overboard with indignation. If we must be indignant, I tell people, if you don't do well in a competition, there are two extreme reactions that you can have. One can be, I'm no good, I'm going to go drown myself. The other is, this competition is crooked and rigged, to use a word from the presidential primaries. This competition is crooked and the judges are incompetent and dishonest. Now, of those two reactions, the second is better. It's healthier, because you don't want to pull negativism inside you. But finally, you have to learn to accommodate yourself to the fact that you won't win all the time. You won't win most of the time. That's the arithmetic. It's like going to a casino. And that's what makes people enjoy competitions, that arithmetic. So, in a way, the profession is a more generalized competition, but there's room for a lot of people. There are a lot of things to do, and everybody should be as active on his own behalf as possible. Don't hesitate to accept money from people. That's something I've told many people. I could never have survived if I wasn't helped financially by people, and that's completely appropriate. There are people who want to help gifted young people to get ahead in their lives, and there's nothing embarrassing about taking that help.